Developing this morning, President Trump threatening a major escalation in Venezuela. He is warning that land strikes on accused drug traffickers could be underway very soon. Now, this comes as War Secretary Pete Hegseth defends himself from accusations of war crimes stemming from an attack on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean. NewsNation's Libbey Dean, she's live at the White House. Libbey, good morning. So what are we learning about next steps now against Venezuela?
Next steps here, really a wait-and-see situation, Kelly. But the White House now says that Navy Vice Admiral Frank Bradley, not Pete Hegseth or President Trump, personally ordered that second follow-up strike on that alleged drug boat after that first hit. Now, administration and military officials insist that he was within his authority, and the law after that strike left 11 dead. Now, the key detail driving this criticism that we're hearing is reports that survivors were alive in the water before that follow-up strike on that boat. And that second hit is what may ultimately have killed these alleged drug smugglers. Now, if lawmakers conclude those survivors no longer posed a threat, some say that could amount to a war crime, which is why they want the full video, the audio, also the paper trail on who knew what and when they knew it. And Bradley is now scheduled to give a classified briefing tomorrow to those committees that oversee the military, as both parties here, Republicans and Democrats, want to dig into whether the rules of war were ultimately broken. Now, War Secretary Pete Hegseth is still publicly backing Bradley's combat decisions, calling the campaign self-defense against narco-terrorists, even as the Pentagon temporarily pauses those new strikes.
And by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. He sunk the boat, and eliminated the threat. And it was the right call. We have his back.
At the same time, President Trump also distancing himself here from that second strike, saying he would not have wanted those survivors targeted, but he is leaning into this broader crackdown and warning it could expand from the sea ultimately to the shore.
The land is much easier. It's much easier. And we know the routes they take. We know everything about them. We know where they live. We know where the bad ones live. And we're going to start that very soon, too.
Now, that language is why a bipartisan group of senators is threatening a new war powers fight if President Trump goes ahead with those land operations inside Venezuela without this formal vote by Congress. And we have heard President Trump threaten to do so. So the big question here this morning is if Bradley's appearance calms those war crime fears that we're hearing, and does Congress ultimately actually move to rein in any of those next moves before, and of course, if troops ultimately go in on the ground there, as we've heard President Trump mention. Kelly.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.